All right, well, welcome back to the Permian Basin's most in-depth and most experienced high school football show. We just did about 15 minutes recapping tonight's games over on CBS 7. We didn't get to quite everybody. Had some six-man games that were left out still. We have some extra interviews and segments that we're going to share with you now here on YouTube as the audience comes in and joins us. Reminder to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get a little notification every time that we do one of these live shows after the Blitz. I don't know, we haven't worked out a name for this show yet, have we, Jair?
No, we haven't really talked about it a lot, Jacob, but all I can just say is thank God that we have this YouTube show. We can go a lot more in-depth and a little bit more analysis and just talking more about these teams in the future as the season progresses.
Extra Blitz, extended Blitz.
The
fifth quarter's been used before, overtime's been used before. We're trying to come up with something unique. All right, let's actually start talking about some football. We had one of the best matchups in all of Texas was the game you were at tonight in Midland.
Yes, I was. It was pretty exciting. Let's just take it over to Midland. So the Rebels, they were coming in fresh off of a Week 1 35-7 victory. Now, Jacob, we'll start with the defense. Now, Tascosa looking to pass, but Jesus Robledo, he comes up with an interception before being taken down by the defense. So let's check out the Rebs' offense. Marcos Davila, he backpedals, and he finds that man, Breck Stevens, who makes it deep into Rebel territory before being brought down by the defense. But it's okay because Madam Malloy, he gets the handoff, and he puts the Rebs on the board as he rushes to the end zone for the TD. Now, Legacy found themselves down 13-7, second quarter. Damian Johnson, he gets the handoff, finds his way to the end zone for the touchdown. Rebels, they take a 14-13 lead. Now, another Johnson in the backfield, he turned up tonight as Chunk Johnson eats his way past the defense. He gives the Rebs a 21-13 lead in the second quarter. On the following possession, Jordan Williams, he blocks for Madam Malloy as he scores TD number 2 on the night as the Rebs take a 28-13 lead at half. Let's just check out the final score. It was Legacy. They got the win 63-34. It was Legacy. They got the win 63-34.
All right, Jair, you were at this game personally. What stood out to you about Legacy's performance?
Well, one thing that I could say, Jacob, we spoke in the preseason, we spoke for months about what they could be this year. Number one, I have to give a lot of credit to Jesus Robledo. He is a linebacker. He looked very sharp. Marcos Davila, he looked pretty good as always. But it was that guy, Breck Stevens. I saw him in the scrimmage about 2 weeks ago now. Breck Stevens, he looks a lot bigger. He looks like he could be a wide receiver, number 1 candidate for that Midland Legacy Rebel offense. And of course, Caden Nells, he also had a pretty nice reception. So did Jordan Williams. So the offense looks pretty good. And along with D2 and Colin Brazel in that backfield at cornerbacks, they look pretty solid out there as well, Jacob.
63 points. I think it's fair to say that the offense looked good. Legacy, they play Tascosa every year. Coach Hartman talks about these are the 2 best programs he thinks west of Interstate 35 out here in the whole western part of the state. And I guess if Legacy won tonight, that makes them the best program west of I-35.
That is definitely a huge question. Hey, don't forget, they're number 25 in the state, according to Dave Campbell's. Let's see if that number rises higher, Jacob. It's going to be a fun week to see what happens.
This is the kind of win over a really good 5A program that could move you up in those 6A rankings. All right, that was Midland Legacy. Let's talk about Midland High. They were on the road tonight in Lubbock, taking on El Paso Coronado. We've picked things up in the second quarter. Coronado with the ball, but not for long. This pass is picked off by Ethan Dominguez for Midland High. Defense looking good. They got really good DBs there at Midland High.
Yes, they do.
Now, the very next play, Tristan Love, the quarterback, takes this one down, jukes out one man. Why don't we evade one more? The sophomore quarterback for Midland High. What a revelation this kid has been filling in for Stroman Bridges. 73 yards to the house. Here, Love hands it off to Elijah McCoy right up the middle. Elijah in for an easy touchdown. Midland High controlled this game from the start. Bulldogs win 48-13. They start the year 2-0. Jair, I mentioned it a little bit there. Tristan Love has been a huge story for the Bulldogs. He didn't find out he was going to be the starting quarterback till a few days before they played their first game of the season last week. He was awesome last week. He was terrific again tonight and leads his team to another victory.
Well, Jacob, that is actually one guy that I wish I could talk to just to know about how he feels over the first couple of weeks starting the season. We're not in district play yet, but, playing in non-district, he's really stepped up. And I saw him last week against one of the Paso schools, that is, and he looks pretty sharp he looks pretty sharp as a quarterback, and plus he has a nice core around him between running backs, and of course you have Elijah McCoy. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Elijah looks like a beast. He's going to be fun to watch this year. I'm going to have to text Coach Fortune to see what Tristan's stats were again tonight, because you're right, maybe he is a player of the week kind of player. We'll see.
Yes.
All right, Permian, they were on the road tonight as well, taking on Waco Midway. A battle of the Panthers, both these teams looking for their first wins after they lost last week. I know that a Panther will win this game. Midway's first drive of the game, their quarterback scrambling, but he is caught by Riley Summerford and Frank Alvarado. That forces a turnover on downs. Permian running that triple option, but the pitch here bounces off the ground, but it's picked up on the run by Gage Murphy. This is not how they drew it up, but it's working. Murphy down around the 2-yard line. Option again, fake up the middle, pitched out to Isaac Herrera for the touchdown, and Mojo takes a 6-0 lead. Still in the first quarter, Midway's Ty Brown going deep, drills his receiver, and Midway goes up 7-6. Second quarter though, Jacob Garcia got a look across the middle, find Noah Adams, nice throw, nice catch. Permian deep in Midway territory. From there, Garcia punches it in from about a yard away. The Panthers led 12-7 at halftime. I think they did fall behind in the second half, but no matter, as Mojo wins 27-21. Permian picks up its first win of the season.
When I see Coach Ellison, Jacob, I want to see his facial reaction when I ask him about this game. I hope that he has a smile on his face. Permian, what a nice comeback after week 1.
Well, it's been kind of a tough week for them because, like you mentioned, last week they came out, they fell behind right away, 35-0 at halftime, lost 49-14 to Abilene. That's obviously going to upset some fans, upset parents and things. Coach Ellison, though, said the staff, players all kept great attitudes, worked to improve and fix those things this week, and they get it done on the road.
And just one more thing, he spoke about the seniors on this Permian Panthers team. He said that they are trying to keep everyone's heads up, they are trying to keep the confidence going, and they are ready to keep on going.
All right, let's talk about the Odessa High Broncos. They were playing last night on the road at Americas. If you haven't seen this one yet, it was a pretty crazy game. We'll start with Americas in the red zone. Odessa's big number 1, Ivan Carrion, almost swats this pass down. He's known for playing receiver. He's playing defensive end last night because the Broncos trying to get some new faces, some help on defense. Now OHS on offense, Mikey Cota rolls out and finds Ivan. There's a touchdown. That's more like what we're used to seeing from him. 7-0 Broncos. Still in the second quarter, Cota going to look for Ivan again. You see him streaking across your screen, and here comes the football. Ivan, 6'6". There's nobody in El Paso that's that tall. Yeah. Ivan beats all the Trailblazers. Broncos go up 13-0 at halftime. Americas, though, to their credit, would come back and take the lead in this game. Odessa drove down as time was running out, kicked a field goal 37 yards out. Idric Rivera nailed it to give the Broncos a 22-20 lead.
Now, Jacob,
win, excuse me.
Yes, a win. So a Broncos win, that is. Now, Jacob, I've been playing defense. I wonder, is Dusty going to do that for the whole entire season? I'm wondering, I'm going to ask him about that this upcoming Monday.
I mean, Ivan's one of the best players, not just in our area or even the state of Texas, one of the best players in the country. Again, 6'6", huge receiver. He's an elite hurdler, went to state, I believe, for the hurdles, so he can run, he can jump, and again, he's enormous. He's committed to play college football at Oklahoma as a receiver, or maybe a tight end if they add even a little more weight to him. But yeah, OHS needed help on defense, and they're playing offensive guys on defense now.
Yeah, if I was a quarterback, I don't think I would want to throw over Ivan Carrion. That guy, he's just too big. Even standing next to me up in person, I'm like, but yeah, he's a pretty big guy.
And some of those changes may have worked because they did only give up 20 points after giving up 44 in a loss last week. So maybe the Broncos are figuring some things out there on defense.
Yes, that is true. But also, Jake, you were at another game tonight. What happened at Midland Christian?
Yes, I was out there at Midland Christian, their first game of the year. They didn't play last week. They've only got 3 home games this year, and they had a tough opponent, number 4 team in the state for private school football, Austin Regents. Here's Regents quarterback back to pass over the middle, but it's picked off by Avery Morgan. Morgan returns this to around midfield before he goes down. Good start here for the Mustang defense. Now, Regents in their own end zone, and they do not get out of there as Brady Young tracks down the back. That's a safety. 2 points go to the Mustangs. The defense standing up early in this one. Let's get some offense now. Colton Newsom swings this ball out to Keller Weathers. Some nice blocking ahead of him. Weathers down the sideline, and this is a big gain for the Mustangs. We switch ends at the quarter change. Same drive, though. 1 yard line. Newsom plunges into the mass of humanity, and that is a touchdown. Somehow they decided that he crossed the line in there. So Mustangs get on the board. Midland Christian took the lead in this game in the second half, but that would be the end of their scoring there at 23 as they fall to Regents 42-23.
I'm sure Coach Cunningham, he saw a lot of positives in this game and knows what to do going forward. And as you said, Jake, Regents, they are a very tough team to play.
When Regents jumped out to a 14-0 lead like a few minutes into this game, Midland Christian threw a pick six, made it 14-0. I thought that was, danger zone here. But Mustangs battled back, took the lead again against number 4 team in the state. So could be a good season for them. And I think the kind of loss that you can build off of. Another huge game tonight. I'd say it's our game of the week. Monahans playing at Andrews up at the Mustang Bowl. Both these teams trying to start 2-0. Historically, 2 great playoff 4A programs around here. Andrews has a new slot T offense. This is Jayshawn Dubose taking the handoff. He's around the edge, and there's not many people in the state that can catch him. He's a track star as well. Touchdown for the Mustangs. Now, if you thought that was good, Jair, check out the sophomore on this play. Dubose looks like he is stopped by the defense, but spins in a circle and escapes around the corner. Again, this guy is only a sophomore, but he is absolutely electric. Had over 200 yards last week, and it looks like he's off to a pretty good start here against the Lobos. But Monahans has one of the best players in our area. Chino Navarrete, their quarterback. He's been doing this this is his 4th year doing this. 4th year as a starter for Monahans, making touchdown runs like that. Monahans threatening again. Chino follows his blockers and into the end zone. Monahans took a 28-14 lead at that point. The Lobos go on to win this one 49-27 over Andrews.
Very exciting game there, Jacob. I mean, must have been a treat for Noe Ortega to watch.
Yeah, our Noe Ortega was there at that game, and here he talked with the winning coach, Fred Stow of Monahans, after that one.
That's right, Jacob and Jair. We're here with Coach Fred Stow talking about today's victory. Coach, what was the best part of today's victory?
Well, I just think it was the overall gritty, tough performance. We tried to air the ball out a little bit in the first quarter, and then we really found our rhythm running the football. So we got after it pretty good up front tonight. So it feels really good to be able to do both things offensively, run and pass.
Mm-hmm. And then you scored over 40 points, but it wasn't just the offense that was performing very well. You also recovered 3 fumbles that led to touchdowns. So can you talk about the defensive side of it as well?
Yeah, our kids played their tails off. They broke some big runs and scored some big touchdowns, but we stopped them from sustaining drives, so we had the ball more on offense. But they played their tails off. They flew around, pursued the ball, tackled pretty well, just overall team performance tonight.
And what happened in between the second and third quarter? Because you guys went in with the two touchdown lead, and then it just extended up to 3, and they were able to score more coming back. But it just seemed like the momentum shifted after that first fumble recovery.
Well, yeah. Anytime you get a turnover, momentum's going to shift. I think our kids were fired up. We started, moving the ball pretty well down there and punched a few of them in and got the win.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Jacob, Jair, back to you.
Here's tonight's Band of the Week, brought to you by Midland College.
We have Monahans and Andrews face off for Band of the Week, so let's just see the final results. It was Andrews that won Band of the Week with 4,926 votes to Monahans' 3,996 votes.
All right, some more of tonight's action. Alpine was down in Fort Stockton trying to get their first win. The Panthers trying to improve to 2-0. Fort Stockton down at the goal line. They hand it off to their bowling ball of a running back, Corbin Luna. Luna over the goal line, in for the touchdown. They would go for 2 but not get it, so 6-0. Alpine down on the other end. They gave it to Logan Smith. He shoots through that hole and in for the score. Alpine takes a 7-6 lead. Fort Stockton's Marco Garcia lost this one right over the defender. Beautiful throw caught by Gary Diaz. That puts the Panthers back in front. Alpine trying to run, but they lose the ball. It's on the ground. Xavier Dominguez has it. He's got a convoy of blockers. The big fella. Go, Xavier. Get to the end zone. Oh, not quite. They threw a flag there, probably for a block in the back anyway. But Fort Stockton does go on to win this game 27-7. And Jair, what stands out to me is through 2 weeks, that Fort Stockton defense, which was so good last year, lost almost all of the players off of its defense. Great again, as they, I think, gave up 10 points or so last week and only 7 tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, very convincing win. Just holding an offense to just 7 points, I mean, that has to just raise the confidence out of any team, especially that defensive coordinator who's helping run it.
And Fort Stockton's a 4A school, Alpine a smaller school, they're a 3A, but, you know, a good win nonetheless, because Alpine, we know they've got a program that's always pretty good, it seems. All right, Jair, let's look at some scores from some of the other 4A games around the area.
Yeah, so it was Pecos. They took on San Elizario, and Pecos, they got the win 49-0. Pecos, they will be taking on Sweetwater next week.
All right, good start to the year for Pecos. They did not play last week, so this was the season opener there for them. Greenwood, they were at home taking on Canyon West Plains. Tough night for Greenwood as they lose 59-14. I still believe that this team is going to turn things around, figure things out. Just a little bit of a 1-2 start here for Greenwood.
Yes, but I think that they will find their way, Jacob. But there was also some more games tonight. It was Crane. They visited Kermit earlier today, so here come the Yellow Jackets. Kermit working on the goal line. Devontae Dawson, he rushes to the end zone for the touchdown, giving the Yellow Jackets the lead. Now, Jacob, it would just be all Yellow Jackets. Here comes another rushing touchdown for Kermit, and you can just feel the sting. Now, anyways, we have to keep it on Mauricio Perez. He's able to find a short pass over to a receiver who just gets past the defense, and he adds another touchdown. Now, following that possession, Jaden Barrano, it's the Crane Golden Cranes, it's Trey Larson. He was able to get the handoff as he rushes to the end zone for the touchdown, but it was all Kermit later tonight as they would add another TD, and I mean, it was just all them. Let's just check out the final score of this game, and it was the Yellow Jackets. They got the win 38-36.
All right, good win for Kermit. They took a beating last week, gave up 70 points against Miles, who I'd have to check and see if Miles was actually that good or not, but Kermit bounces back in a big way. I thought Crane was going to win this game, if I'm being honest. You know, we don't make picks on these things, but I thought Crane was going to win this game. Shout out to Coach Fellows. Kermit, his first year there in Kermit, he's got a new coaching staff. Shout out to their kids as they get an impressive, a quality win over a quality program, 38-36.
That is pretty true, but I mean, Crane, they're still working out a new quarterback, Jacob, so don't forget about that. I think that they're going to be able to find their way again next week.
All right, I know it looked like we maybe had some standouts there at Kermit as well, so there seemed like there were some names you were saying kind of over and over again, so maybe another Player of the Week candidate, perhaps. We'll see. Some more 3A action. Stanton was at home tonight against Merkel. I think I've got the logos flipped there, but that's okay. There you go. Stanton on the bottom team, usually the home team. Little insider to look at the biz there for you. How you like that? Merkel beats Stanton, though, 34-7. Stanton was great last week, put up over 40 points in their first game of the season. Offense took a big step back tonight.
Yeah, that is true, Jacob. They're going to have to find their way. They're going to have to practice this upcoming week. Just try to regain some of that momentum that they got when they took on Grape Creek last week.
But we like Coach Rushing. We like his offense that he's running. We like Jake Benedict, the quarterback, and some of his weapons out there. A little more on that later in our show, but we'll get to that. Sticking with some more of our 3A games that we had tonight.
That is true, Jacob. It was Odessa Compass. They were taking on San Angelo TLCA over at Ratliff Stadium tonight. So Odessa Compass possession. Quarterback Diego Franco, he's able to connect with Christian Davalos for a 45-yard touchdown with no one on defense near him. That was just too easy. So later on, Franco, he's able to hand the ball off to Davalos, and he picks up the first down to put the Odessa Compass Cougars in the red zone. So on 4th and goal, Franco, he hands it off to Tanner Garr with a jet sweep and doubles the lead for Odessa Compass. And let's just check out the final score. It was San Angelo. They got the win over the Cougars, 27-24.
And did this game go into overtime, or maybe just late fourth quarter? So it did not go to overtime. We were talking on CS7 a few minutes ago, still in the fourth quarter, but now it has officially gone final with San Angelo TLCA winning. And I was just kidding before. I know TLCA stands for Texas Leadership Charter Academy. We have one of those in Midland as well.
Yes, and also another thing to look out for, Odessa Compass, they'll be going to Ira Ann next week, Jacob. That should be, that's 2 area games right there. It should be an interesting matchup.
All right, and I think I'm still kind of just struck by the Kermit win as we give some of our thoughts on what's kind of stood out to us here, talking about these 3A and 4A games. Greenwood, like I mentioned, kind of surprised that they lost to West Plains by about 40 points. West Plains is only in its second year of playing varsity football. Canyon's got a good area up there, whether it's the Canyon High Eagles, Canyon Randall. They usually have decent teams, so I guess they added another school, and it seems like they're pretty good as they put it on Greenwood tonight.
Yes, I wouldn't be too. I would feel a sense of urgency.
No.
That is. I'm just trying to say, just trying to make sure that, maybe a sense.
I know.
Maybe a sense of urgency.
No, we believe in Greenwood.
A sense of urgency.
They're not feeling, but maybe it is a sense of urgency.
Okay, just a sense of urgency. Just trying to get back into the win column. But thankfully, Jake, these are also non-district games. So this is also a time to prepare for those district games because you want to make the playoffs. That's what really matters at the end of the day, Jake.
That's true. You can go 0-5 through these non-district games. You win enough of your playoff games to be in the top 4 of your most of your district games to be top 4 of your district, and you make the playoffs. We see stuff like that kind of happen all the time.
Look at Legacy Rebels last year.
That's true. They were 1-3, 2-5, something like that.
1-3 or 2-5, or they were not 1-4. Maybe 1-3.
1-4 sounds extreme, but it was kind of crazy last year.
Yes, it was.
And then, of course, they went on, played in the second round of the playoffs, got to share the district title.
Yes, they did.
And great things. We mentioned Stanton before. Let's take a look at our player of the week.
Here's tonight's Player of the Week, brought to you by New Tech Commercial Roofing.
So our CBS 7 Player of the Week is Stanton Buffalo's quarterback and linebacker Jake Benedict. In Week 1's victory against Great Creek, he was perfect, completing all of his 6 passes for 179 yards, for 4 touchdowns while rushing for 1. He also added a pick 6 as a linebacker.
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot as a quarterback this year. I've learned a lot about reading coverages and running and just mainly passing technique. Most of my players aren't.
All right, well, here's some games from last night. Big Spring was on the road at Lubbock High. Big Spring with the ball. Gavin Padron launches it to Ziari Franklin. Franklin outruns the rest of the defense for the Steers touchdown. They missed the extra point, so 6-0 Big Spring. Lubbock with the ball. Their quarterback keeps this one around the edge, and the Steers are not going to get him. They would make their extra point, so 7-6 Lubbock High leads early on. Now here's the quarterback again, Trevino from Lubbock High, battling into the end zone for a touchdown for them. They would have the lead there, but Big Spring would come back in this one. Steers went on the road 32-21 to pick up their first win of the year.
There you go, Big Spring.
And they didn't have Gavin Padron, their quarterback, in Week 1 of the season. They had him back in this game, obviously, and that makes a world of difference when you've got an experienced quarterback like him that threw for 3,000-something yards last year.
Yeah, especially having your QB number 1. With the exception, like Midland High, they also have back going. But hey, it's always good to have your QB 1 on the field. But now in more games, McCamey, they were at Reagan County last night. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. We'll start off with Reagan County. So Kason Brown, he snaps the ball and he looks downfield. Nice throw, and he finds his brother Jarrett Brown for a first down. Ooh, that rhymes. Reagan County working in the red zone. AJ Avalos finds his way past the defense for an Owl touchdown to put them up. Now later on, Avalos, he is working on the sidelines for his second TD of the ball game. Now McCamey, they needed to get themselves going quickly. So Grant Glidewell, he snaps the ball, and then a pass over to Edgar Martinez, who slips past Chris Johnson. The Owls are unable to get a handle on him as he makes it to the end zone for a touchdown. But Reagan County, they were able to respond. Brown finds Raven Saldivar downfield for the reception before making it to the end zone for the touchdown. And now not long afterward, Brown is able to find Saldivar once again, and that's another reception. He gets over the defense, gets past them, gets it into the end zone, as it was just Reagan County. They were able to get the win 57-27 over McCamey.
And Reagan County has looked good so far to start this year. They almost upset Wink last week on the road, lost that game where they were up, 48-14, something like that, 42-14, something crazy like that over Wink. Wink came back, beat the Owls. But Reagan County responds by getting a win over McCamey, 57-27. That offense down there with the Brown brothers is very impressive, Reagan County.
Now, let's not forget, I did my pigskin preview over at Reagan County. So between AJ Avalos and Jarrett and Kason Brown, it just feels like they have a lot more chemistry coming into 2023. So if I was a Reagan County, if I was living in Reagan County, that is, I'll be very optimistic to see what they could do offensively. I feel like the connections are growing a lot better, and especially, your dad is the head coach.
That's true.
So I mean, you know, it's like the Ball brothers when LeVar Ball wanted all of them to play with each other because they all had that chemistry, and that makes sense for Kaysen and Jarrett Brown.
It does, and they dropped down from 3A to 2A 2 years ago. This is the second year playing 2A, and I think we're kind of starting to see the fruits of that. That at a 3A level, maybe it's tough, but you put this group at 2A, they can make some noise. Let's look at some other scores from tonight's games. Coahoma, this was a barn burner down on the road in Sonora. Coahoma, this one back and forth, but Bulldogs ultimately lose this one 44-30. Wink, we were just talking about them. Maybe another scare for the Wildcats, but they have no problem putting up points again as they beat Ozona 48-36.
Meanwhile, Forsan, they defeated Post 24-6. Forsan, they will be playing at Stanton next week.
Good win for the Buffaloes as they bounce back from their Howard County Bowl to Coahoma. Howard County Bowl lost to Coahoma last week. Post, one of those historically, or at least in recent years, really good programs. Their coach, Michael Pittman, he's now at Crane, and they've kind of fallen off since he left them for Crane. Just saying a little bit. Anyway. Ira Ann, they were at home tonight taking on Center Point. The Braves win this one 41-18. They play Odessa Compass there in Ira Ann next week. Big six-man matchup as we had two of the top 10 teams in the state going head-to-head. Number 6 Rankin was an Imperial to play number 9 Buena Vista. This one was tight early on. Rankin pulls away to win 59-20. Rankin now has 2 top 10 wins on its resume through 2 weeks of the season. They beat Balmorhea last week. Now pick up another nice win over Buena Vista.
Pretty nice start to a season, Jacob.
Yeah, probably can't ask for much better than that, Jair.
Yeah.
Grand Falls, they were at home last night, but did not go their way as they fell to Whiteface. Whiteface, also a top 10 team in the state. They're ranked number 10. I just didn't put the number next to their name there. I'm sorry. Moving on to other six-man action. Balmorhea, we just mentioned them. This, a little bit of a stunner. The Bears, even despite that loss to Rankin, were still ranked number 5 in the state. Van Horn goes on the road, that beautiful new stadium down in Balmorhea, and spoils the housewarming party. The Eagles win 46-42.
There is a scare out there in Balmorhea. I was shocked about what happened last week against Rankin, but to have 2 losses in a row.
I mean, you're playing 2 good teams to start the year, to be fair.
That is true. But I mean, just historically from when I moved down here, Jake, you always told me that Balmorhea, they are him. The same way of how we say that guy is him, they are him in six-man football, Jake.
They are, and there's still a chance, because we talked about this a little earlier, that they could lose these 2 games and still go on to win the state championship, because that's kind of what happens sometimes. Sanderson, here's another story that we love to talk about. Sanderson, the Eagles, they had 6 players at their practice. Remember when I went down there to the story on them? A 6-man football team that had only 6 players, no substitutes, no nothing. Sanderson beat Fort Hancock last night, 63-13. Congratulations to Coach Hilliard and the Iron Eagles. Some other 6-man action from tonight. Jair, I'll let you talk about these ones.
Yeah, so it was the Sands Mustangs, Jake. They got the win over Robert Lee 53-44. And now as for O'Donnell versus Grady, it was O'Donnell that got the win over the Grady Wildcats 62-44. What pops out about these games to you, Jake?
That one of our teams won the game. That would be the Sands Mustangs, and that Grady lost. I believe Grady lost last week as well. I'm trying to remember. We're going to start putting records on these things that can help kind of remind us while we're out here, because you know we do our research. We try to take some notes, but we don't know.
We also have a very busy week, Jake. So there's a lot for us to keep track of. I mean, don't forget, we also have to do volleyball too.
I was trying to look up our YouTube to see if there's any comments on our YouTube live right now.
Yeah,
try to engage with the fans a little bit, because we do have one more short score to show, but it's pretty exciting. I was just kind of trying to say it for later. I don't think anyone said anything in the chat. I think there's also,
hey guys,
it's fine.
Feel free to speak in the chat.
It does. It makes us feel better. And again, like, subscribe, all those YouTube-y things. Here's one more score for the road, Jair. Check this one out.
Oh!
Midland Holy Cross, they were on the road at Loop last night. That's Holy Cross Catholic. This is, again, a 6-man football game. Now, Jude Mendez is the running back for Holy Cross. He had a great game. He had 300-something yards, like 6 touchdowns. Problem is that Loop put up 105 points in this game. Barely fits on our scoreboard. The scoreboard there in Loop obviously doesn't go to 3 digits, so they had to set it back to, when they got to 99, they had to put it back to 05 in order to fit 105 on their scoreboard.
Oh my goodness, Jacob. I mean, I put up points like this with my Madden player, with my own, my player in Madden NFL 23, but 105, wow.
I can't do this on Madden, that's too much. Video game numbers, maybe he doesn't even begin to describe what you can see in some six-man football games.
That is true.
Here in Texas. All right, well, I think we've talked enough about our games tonight. Jair, I haven't mentioned it yet, but you wore your maroon suit to talk about the Legacy Rebels.
I had to come out, I had to pop out just a little bit for those boys out over there in Midland. I mean, I don't have a purple suit. I would have worn a purple suit last week for Midland High. I mean, for Midland Legacy getting 2 wins in a row, I mean, Midland is maroon tonight. We are in Odessa, but I mean, still though, Midland is maroon tonight. So, I'm looking pretty nice.
You do look very nice. Although we can't just make these broad, sweeping statements about Midland being maroon, because I saw that
is true. That is
their
true.
Midland High, the football team won, the volleyball team won. Both volleyball teams, Legacy and Midland High, both won tonight. Shout out to the volleyball teams.
I'm sorry about that, guys. I really apologize.
And other takeaways, I mean, Legacy obviously looked great, scoring 63 points on a really good Tascosa team. Midland High, Permian, Odessa High all picked up wins as 6A schools. Monahans beating Andrews, that's another big win for the Lobos, as they could be on their way to a special season, went to the 4th round of the playoffs last year and look really good again. And then Kermit is another one that stuck with me, and the Van Horn beating Valmarais. That's, I think, maybe the biggest shocker of the night.
But also, did you mention Reagan County and what they have been able to do? I mean, that offense, we'll see how they go going forward. And I mean, between the Brown brothers, along with all the other weapons that they have on offense, so it'll be fun to watch the season.
All right, we want to thank Jersey Girl Pizza here in Odessa, because they feed us on these nights. They give us pizza, then we, our crew, eat some of the pizza. I think there's still some left. It's kind of cold, but would still be good. So we may go grab that now. Here come the phone calls. Oh boy, well, we've got to go. Now, thank you for joining us here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do that, because again, you get a notification about when we've gone live, and we're going to do this every week, so you can kind of count on what time of the week, but it's nice to have a reminder every now and then. Send us messages to let us know, what your favorite matchups have been, who your favorite team is. Let us know what games maybe you're looking forward to in the future. You can pick Jair's outfits for the future. Send in comments about that. You can pick what Jair wears, because obviously he'll wear anything.
Yes. Well, almost anything. When I come back for district play, I have some new heat coming. And also, don't forget, it's your boy's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Jair.
Thank you so much, Jacob.
How old are you turning?
25. I'm becoming an old man.
25.
I'm becoming a quarter of a century old.
All right. Well, we'll go check these comments, and we'll try to bring you an even better version of our extended Friday Night Blitz here on YouTube. Thank you again for joining us. We'll see you back here again next week.